Hi and welcome back to Broadsheet Melbourne Around Town. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. I'm Katja Vakdal, Broadsheet's editorial director and the host of this 10-minute guide to Melbourne. Today we're paying a visit to a very small shop selling Spanish pastries you won't find elsewhere in Melbourne, and then we're heading to Abbotsford to visit a wine bar with a really interesting approach to its wine list. But first we are heading to Nick Connellan, our publications director, and we're going to talk about some very big news to big Melbourne institutions. Hi Nick, welcome. Before we get into some really exciting opening news about a Melbourne institution, let's also talk about news that's just broken about another beloved Melbourne institution, a live music icon really, the Tote. What's going on?
It's up for sale.
Up for sale. Okay, what does that mean?
Hopefully it means that it can continue as a live music institution. It is listed for sale and it's the building and the business itself. And I guess the expectation is that the current owners will sell it to someone who wants to continue that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Tell us about the current owners. Why now?
So they were real heroes back in 2010. Basically, the Tote had kind of been forced into a really difficult financial situation due to some changes to liquor licensing laws, and the pub shut down for 6 months. And then there were these big rallies around the city that about 20,000 people attended. The Slam rallies saved Live Music Australia. And then these guys swooped in and reopened the Tote. And it was this kind of big, everyone was very happy.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, yeah. But now they've just said, through COVID and losing one of our business partners to cancer, we don't have any petrol left in the tank. We need someone else to come and take this over and perhaps broaden the business model. There's talk of potentially putting a brewery on site. I think they may have approval for that with council. So it's like, what else can we do to keep this thing going? Okay, well, fingers crossed that the Tote gets some new owners who love live music like Melbourne does. And we have some good news quickly. Okay, on to another beloved Melbourne institution, this time some really exciting news. A1 Bakery, 30 years open now, still has lines out the door. A Lebanese bakery that, people travel from all over Melbourne to visit. What is their news? What's happening? They're coming to Fitzroy.
What are they opening there?
So they're opening another bakery. It's going to be a kind of smaller, slimmed down takeaway version of what they're doing on Sydney Road in Brunswick.
Okay. For those who might not know the A1 story, even if they've heard of the bakery, tell us, where did this place come from?
Okay. So let's go back to 1992. So 31 years ago, if I'm doing maths properly. We had two Lebanese couples who opened it together and kind of everyone just loved it.
Yeah.
It's, beautiful, fresh pies and pizzas and all these Lebanese specialties.
Crispy falafel.
Oh, yeah. All the good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's at such an affordable price point and still is.
Yeah.
And, it's just continued ever since.
Are those original couples still running it today?
No, it's in the hands of the sons of one of those couples. Right. So the brothers, Heikel, Daniel and Anthony are the boys running it now.
Now, if you walk into the Brunswick location, just describe it for people who haven't been lucky enough to go there.
Yeah, so it's a classic, There's always the window where everyone's queuing to get their fresh stuff, and then families and all sorts of people sitting in the chairs. And then there's a big area where there's lots of Middle Eastern groceries and stuff. If you want to get pomegranate molasses or rose water or any of that sort of good stuff, you can go and get it there.
I every time I go in for the spinach and cheese triangles, but then I'm like, oh gosh, I should probably do some other shopping. I walk out with so much food, everything looks so good, it smells so good. Is there going to be that grosser element as well in Fitzroy?
Not to the same extent as Sydney Road. I think it's going to be a smaller premises, but same vibe. You'll be able to come and get your spinach triangle.
Okay, great. When's it opening?
Mid-year, they've said.
Wish you'd said next month, but that's okay. I can wait that long. Really exciting news. We'll keep people updated as news comes to light on the opening.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, from Brunswick, we are heading to Abbotsford to a new wine bar with a really interesting premise. And here to talk about it with me today is Daniela Frangos, a Broadsheet editor. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, Cardwell Cellars is the name of this place.
Really interesting story behind it. There are two owners. You've got a sommelier, typical of a wine bar, but the other owner's background is slightly more unexpected.
The other guy, Martin von Weiss, he is a cartographer
Okay.
which is someone who draws maps.
How did a cartographer come together with a somm to open a mapped wine bar?
He had what he describes as a lockdown obsession where he started drawing maps of wine regions, which led to a website called worldwineregions.com, where he's drawn like more than 2,000 wine regions around the world. So then that led to him being inspired to open this shop.
How did he find the somm to work with?
He found him on LinkedIn. He wanted a wine guy to team up with. So Andrew, the somm, has worked at Gaia and Lume.
Yeah.
I think Etta as well, maybe.
Yeah. So he knows his stuff. Okay,
Yes.
so can you give us a sense of the geography, where some of the wine comes from?
Yeah, it's very much about underrepresented regions. So you will find wines from super close by the store, Studley Park Vineyards.
Right. So really close.
Really close
as
by.
local as it gets.
Yeah. And then all the way to like Turkey, Croatia, Georgia.
Right. And food? Is there food?
Snackies. There are some really beautiful pastries from a pastry chef, Jo Chan, who works at Small Batch Roasting. She's got a side project with another chef who works at Yugen Dining.
Right.
So like real, you know, good cred.
Yeah.
And there's like black garlic canapés and citrus oolong tea cake and just, yummy things.
And what's this place like? Is it kind of cozy? Is it more minimalist? You know, wine bars these days, I think they run the gamut in Melbourne from the coziest places, somewhere that feels like you've just walked into a mate's house, to really, you know, austere but very beautiful spaces.
It is cozy. There's also a place, so upstairs there is going to be art exhibitions, and there's like a beautiful red velvet couch that you can choose to sit on and drink your wine and read a book if you want.
Pretend that no one else is there.
Exactly.
Go upstairs.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's going to be slam poetry happening up there as well.
Really nice. Okay. I love the idea of it. Obviously, wine regions are something, you know, you walk into a bottle shop and it's also done by wine region, but these guys are going, you know, pushing that even harder. And I love the education around it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
The next venue we're talking about is also somewhere that transports you somewhere else really effectively, with very beautiful looking and very beautiful tasting pastries. And these pastries are regional specialties from Spain. They're the kind of pastries that you actually can't easily find elsewhere around Melbourne. So we're really excited that it's come to have a permanent spot in Paran Market. And here to talk about these beautiful pastries with us is Ruby Harris. Welcome, Ruby.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Ruby is a broadsheet writer. Tell us about La Colmena.
So La Colmena has just very recently opened in Paran Market. It only opened at the end of January, and these pastries are unlike anything I've ever had before. They're all from very specific regions around Spain. Cristina Jimenez, it's a one-woman show. She's completely running this on her own. She grew up in, you know, different parts of Spain, and she's completely brought that to Paran Market, which is amazing.
So her background is not in cooking though. Can you tell us where she started? Because it's a far cry from making regional Spanish pastries.
Yes, so Cristina was a mechanical engineer, which is not what you would expect from a now pastry chef.
The precision of engineering and precision of baking.
Yeah.
There's crossover.
There's something in there.
Okay, so going back to, so she decided to start La Colmena though. Why?
Yes, so she moved to Melbourne in 2009. She was working as a mechanical engineer. She sort of put that to the side when she had kids, and then COVID hit, and like all of us, you know, there was a lot of time to think and reassess. And she realised that there was this lack of authentic Spanish pastries in Melbourne, and she really wanted to bring that to the city, which we're so happy she has.
Yeah.
And then La Colmena was born.
Okay, so tell us about these pastries. I think they're the kind of thing, I don't even know if we're going to be able to describe them. You kind of need to see them in real life or in photos, because they are, especially one of them, it's like a little architectural masterpiece. Can you tell us about some of these pastries? Now, we both sent off voice notes last night to friends and colleagues to get some pronunciation tips. And I mean, I sent mine off to a Spanish friend, and she had to send it off to friends in then other parts of Spain, because these are so highly regional. So someone in Madrid also wanted to ask someone in Catalonia how to pronounce these. But tell us about some of these beautiful pastries.
Yes, well, since I discovered this place, cannot stop going. So my favourites are the pianonos, which they're like cupcake size. They're quite small. They're layers of syrup-soaked, I think it's sponge cake, and they've got custard and cinnamon throughout, and then on the top is a beautiful, it's like a creme brulee almost, as like the topping. The special that they had on the weekend was the roscon de Reyes, which is a very special dessert in Spain. It's only made, I think, on one day of the year, but we've got it as a special this weekend, so we were very lucky. And it's layers of sourdough with cream in the middle, and then it's got almonds and candied orange on the top, and it is unbelievable.
In our story, there was the March special, which is a cheesecake?
Yes.
But not a Basque cheesecake.
No,
a different kind.
So it's her mum's recipe, and it's different to Basque. It's not baked, it's stirred.
Yeah.
And it was funny. She was actually saying that every mum in Spain has their own cheesecake recipe, and everyone says their mum has the best one.
Yeah.
But she was like, my mum has the best one. And yeah, so that's the March special.
Right. And is she cooking these on site?
No, so her house has been turned into a council-approved commercial kitchen.
Importantly, council approved.
Yes, don't worry, it's all it's all legal. And she's literally a one-woman show. She's up at 5 a.m. putting the first batch in the oven. A lot of these pastries take a few days to ferment and rise, and
right.
So she is up at 5 a.m., first batch in the oven, and then she's transporting it to the market and then back to it the next day.
Oh, how good. Thanks, Ruby. Really, really love that story.
Thank you.
That's all we've got time for today. As usual, you can stay up to date at any time and any place at broadsheet.com.au or on Instagram at broadsheet_Melb.